Not Nerd Podcast, episode 384, This Week in Interest.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Yes, sirree, Nate. How are you today, my friend?
I am good. I have a little bit of a old man back issue today, but I am upright, and there is some sunlight coming through.
I see you looking
somewhere
out the window there. I'm in my little cave, and so there's no light.
Yes.
It's the only light that you see is artificial. And I want to do a quick shout out to some potential new listeners, at least one episode. They probably listened to last week's, which I probably said something embarrassing. But Dylan, Sean, and Chris, if you're listening to this episode, welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast.
Cool.
Yeah.
Spreading the word.
Spreading the word.
We'll have to watch what we say about certain things from here on out.
Indoctrinating those tech Luddites.
Yes.
Helping them to tech better.
True. Well, let's do that by getting into some follow-up. This is kind of a dual-pronged follow-up. We talked about this last, I think it was October when they announced it. But then I also had the pick of the week a couple weeks back about Robinhood and their savings account with 1.5% interest, I think I get, APY. Is that correct?
APY, annual percentage yield.
Yes. But Apple finally launches high yield Apple savings account. Now, this is only for people with the Apple credit card, not just the Apple Cash, which I have.
Right. And for people, I think, with accounts in good standing and high credit rating.
Yes.
And Nate, look closely at my phone.
Oh, yes. You got some savings in your Robinhood app there?
No, that's the Apple Wallet.
The Apple Wallet.
Look at that, 4.15. I signed up for it today.
Nice. How do you sign up for it? Do tell, because I went into my wallet to look and I didn't see it.
I saw a couple articles and I just tried it. And so what you do is you go into your wallet.
Yes.
Not the little quick, I'm going to pay at a terminal, but go into the actual wallet app. Select your Apple Card. Click the three dots in a circle icon at the upper right-hand corner. And, man, we really need a good name for this icon.
Yeah, because like Google uses the hamburger menu, the three lines, which is easy. But this is the, what is that, the shirt button?
The triple nipple. Let's call it that.
There you go.
So you click the triple nipple icon, and then you go, it's not intuitive at all, but you go to Daily Cash. And then under the Daily Cash election, or it may be different for you because I've signed up, but there's a section that says savings under your Apple Cash. And Apple Cash, if you recall, is one of those areas that if people pay you via the Apple Cash app, or if you earn interest or kickbacks from buying stuff at Apple stores, they give you like a 3% money back. It goes into your Apple Cash. So what I did is I transferred all my Apple Cash into my new Apple Savings so it can earn that sweet interest.
Nice. So now maybe I'll have to move my money over from Robinhood into here and get some more interest.
What was the interest rate on Robinhood, if you can remember?
It was 1.5, but if you get like their Pro app for like $5 a month, it goes up to I think about 4.5, between 4 and 4.5. So.
Now I have an account with Ally, ALLY.
Yes.
Both a savings and a checking. Their thing is, hey, we're going to give you high interest yields, and their saving account was only 3-something. So this Apple Cash savings like blows everybody out of the water.
No, my On Point Community Credit Union savings account is like 0.2% or something like that. It says in this article. So back to I did get mine set up, so I've got that going. So you're all along with me on this journey. But it says the article says Apple says that the 4.15% APY rate is more than 10 times the national average.
Yeah.
And it says a recent survey, Fortune magazine reported that the U.S. national average is 0.3 0.37%.
That's just criminal.
It is, especially with how high
usury.
interest rates are now, but not on that side, they're not. So,
yeah, just real quick, let me, for real-time follow-up, click into my Ally bank account. I want
Yes.
to give an accurate depiction of what it is. So the savings is actually a money market savings account,
Oh, okay.
and it takes a while to like move money
Get
in and
it
out of these
out.
things, a
Yeah.
couple of days or whatever. It says 4.0 annual percentage
Oh, wow.
yield
Yeah.
for the money market, but for the regular checking or whatever, it's going to give me 0.10. So there you go.
There you go. Okay, well, that was this episode of This Week in Interest, and we're going to wrap it up.
Hopefully
Tell a
we've-
friend.
Hopefully we've piqued your interest.
Yes. Well, it is a good reminder that look at your savings and how much money it is making you, because you might have some good options to get a little more return. And I don't have a ton in savings, but what I do have, I'd like to make as much money as possible on it.
Yeah. Very good.
Well, the Pentagon.
Yeah.
That's
That's something different.
the Satanic Conference in San Diego.
The Pentagon,
Pentagon, the government building
that's shaped like a pentagon.
Yes, has the leaker that we talked briefly about that last week, that a bunch of Ukraine and military information had been leaked out. Now, Jack Teixeira
That's not real.
is a 21-year-old National Guardsman, Air National Guardsman. So he's basically an IT tech in the Air National Guard, and somehow he had access to all these documents. And then my understanding is that it was kind of in like this private Discord group, like him and a bunch of, I'm going to assume, mostly guys that are really into the military and guns and that sort of thing. Somehow he got a hold of these documents and were sharing them there. Well, then they ended up further out. And
Okay, so he's pro-military, but got these documents, and then they got leaked without his consent.
yeah, I
guess.
think it was more, he was like, look at this stuff. This is cool. We've got all
Bragging.
this information on the Ukraine operations of the war over there. But there was some, we won't get into it because we are the most nonpartisan tech podcast on the internet. But there was some very concerning things about what the United States' actual involvement in Ukraine is, since we are not aware that we are actually in the war, even though we are providing a lot of support to Ukraine. So all of that is for a much different podcast than ours. But Jack has been arrested. They had the whole military SWAT team out there to get him and took him into custody. So I'm sure we'll hear more on that
They
later.
probably could have sent one guy that said, hey, this thing happened, and we need you to come with us. And he'd been like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, let's
Yeah,
send a
I'm
SWAT team in.
busted. Like he didn't know the information had gotten out there, and he was probably in trouble.
Yeah.
But they were able to track him down very quickly, which does not always happen when government stuff like that happens. So
And Nate, I see the next headline. Do we really want to talk about this?
we've got to. The people want to know what's going on with FTX. And the bankrupt crypto exchange has recovered $7.3 billion with a B dollars in assets and is considering a reboot.
Oh, really? So SFB of FTX.
SBF.
Oh, sorry, SBF of FTX is doing his thing, but the company has recovered $7.3 billion.
Yeah.
And the company wants to reboot itself, or does the government want to reboot this? How is this even a thing?
Well, the attorney, Andy Dieterich, said the company is starting to think about its future after months of effort devoted to collecting resources and figuring out what went wrong under the leadership of indicted ex-founder Sam Bankman-Fried. So they've kind of got all this new leadership in there. Now, part of the reason why they've been able to get a lot of this money back, and we'll actually have another story later, is that crypto prices are back up. So some of this stuff that they had has gone back up. But at least don't call it the same thing. I mean, just go away, please.
When is this going to happen when companies do bad things, they should just go away and they're not allowed to do business anymore. Isn't that a thing? Like if I did something bad, I'd go to jail, meaning I don't do bad things anymore. So I don't understand how businesses get away with it. But again, we are that whole non-political podcast.
Yes. So we will move on.
Yeah.
Remember Wordle?
I do.
It's still a thing. I still have a couple people that I'm friends with on Facebook that'll post their scores quite often.
Well, I just love, this is heavy in sarcasm, I just love it when you follow a Twitter or a Mastodon account and the only thing they do is post their Wordle score.
Wordle scores.
I'm like, shut it off, please.
Yes. And you might have caught the CBS primetime game show called Lingo, hosted by RuPaul, which looks exactly like Wordle. I have not brought myself to watch an episode, but...
Yeah, I don't think that would appeal to me.
No, the New York Times, I did play with it briefly, has debuted Digits, the math version of Wordle, they claim.
This is something you would love.
Yes, so I did go into it a little bit just to check it out, and I didn't have... the time nor the brain capacity at the moment to figure it out, but basically you're given 5 different numbers, and then you have a number that you need to get to, and then you have plus, minus, divided by, multiply, and you take your 5 numbers and you have to use those and add, multiply, divide, and try to get to the final number.
Okay, it's a little bit like Sudoku or something like that.
Yes, but it's all. They're calling it a version of Wordle just so it'll get more press. Yeah. But New York Times has, their crossword puzzles. They bought Wordle. They have several puzzle things. So I'm going to play around with this some more. But if you're into math, and if you follow us on the socials, you saw some sweet pictures of my Letterman jacket with my math letter on the back.
There's dozens of you out there.
Yes.
Dozens.
And speaking of Wordle, we talked last year about Heardle, which was the music version of Wordle that Spotify bought, and they're shutting it down because that's what companies do. They buy stuff and shut it down.
Yeah, it's kind of like everybody loves something. A big company buys it, and then they destroy it. Wash, rinse, repeat. Oh, it's my favorite thing in the planet.
Yes, indeed. It's been a while since we've talked about any streaming services with Max in the name. But we're getting very meta, and not the Mark Zuckerberg meta, on Max named streaming services because HBO Max is renaming itself to Max.
Well, at least they didn't add something else to the end, but I am still very confused why they're rebranding. HBO Max has, to my ears and to my people I know, a very good reputation. People know it. People like it. So, hey, let's just change the name to confuse everybody.
Yeah, I heard somebody pontificating that maybe they thought it was because they're trying to really expand. They're going to, add in Discovery Plus content. They're doing more of a wide range than what you would typically think of HBO. And a lot of, like, if they were trying to get into kids content, parents would go, I'm not letting the kids on HBO Max. They've got scandalous shows. But who knows? They just want to be called Max.
All of them do. There are scandalous programs on everything except for maybe Disney Plus, and I bet you there's some content on there that you wouldn't want your little kids watching. Yeah,
so they've got 3. There's in true streaming platform form, they have Max Ad Lite for $9.99 a month, Max Ad Free for $15.99 a month, or Max Ultimate Ad Free for $19.99 a month.
This is there could not be a worse naming convention for this.
Yeah, yes.
So Adlite is the cheapest. It's even cheaper than the free.
Yes.
But the ultimate free is the most expensive.
Yeah.
So sign me up. Where do I sign up?
Yeah. So the Adlite means that I think they're using that to say, we'll have a couple ads sprinkled in there, and then you'll have ad-free with no ads for a lot more money. But yeah, so go check out Max.
They should have taken the soda company's approach and had like 0.
Yes.
Like Max 0 ads. Yeah. Max Ultimate 0 ads. And Max ads. Max,
something. Max Plus ads.
Max
they
Plus.
need to get a plus in there somewhere.
where's
Every
the
other
plus?
streaming service has plus in the name.
That's what they were missing right there.
Oh, man. Well, Dave, you might want to rethink any travels or relocating to Montana because Montana lawmakers approved statewide ban on TikTok. You won't be able to...
You're just getting me excited to go to Montana.
Yes,
I mean, I can
true.
have a conversation with people and they don't show me vertical video with some weird automated voice person that's talking.
Yes.
Yeah, I've, as you are well aware, I've never really got into TikTok. Yeah. I've tried. It's kind of like, there's a story that I tell sometimes. The lunch lady and my teachers, you can't leave the table until you try this. And I'm like, I don't like it. I don't want it. No, you need to try it. And then I try it and then I get sick. And then they're like, oh, we're not going to ever make him try anything again. And TikTok's kind of the same way. It's like, I know I don't like it. And then I tried it and then it made me sick. And so I'm just going to stay away from it. So maybe I'll just move to Montana. Maybe that's the moral of my story.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, so they're the first state to do a complete statewide ban. Now, this will probably go into appeals and Supreme Court and all that kind of stuff.
And I've heard some discussion around this, and people are saying, well, I mean, unless it's a federal type thing, it's so dumb to have each state kind of rule on this separately. There needs to be a national thing. Otherwise, just you go across state lines and download it. How are they going to? What if I'm on T-Mobile? Is that? And I turn off my internet and I go onto my cellular. Can I download it over cellular? Because it's not. You know what I mean? How do they regulate
drive
this?
Across state lines so that you can download.
So
or
I'm on another
TikTok,
cell tower,
or will it be blocked? With the network will be blocked in the state. I don't know.
What if I'm on a border town and my cellular coverage comes from across the border? Then I guess I can.
You can still get it. But so a lot of details to be worked out on this.
This seems like trying to herd cats is what it sounds like.
Yes. Well, we do have some Cryptowatch.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the Ethereum network completes the Shanghai update.
I wasn't aware of this, and I do own an Ethereum.
Yes.
So I'm glad that it went off without a hitch.
Yes, yeah. So, and Ether rallied past $2,000 for the first time since August, and Bitcoin, I believe, is above $30,000. I could take a little look in my handy app. I didn't delete that one for you.
It has been way too long since you fired up your app to give us the crypto prices.
Yes.
I'm waiting on bated breath as we sit here for you to launch your app.
Yes. So Bitcoin, as we record on Monday evening, April 17th, is currently at $29,392.20, but it was over 30,000 in this in the last day. So
it goes up and it goes down. That's the nature of crypto.
Yes. So if I look at the last, let's look at the last year. The high was, so a year ago, it was still at $43,000. And then the lowest over the last year, it was down to $15,490. So it's about doubled back. So not where we need it to be if you bought back in the boom, but if you bought last summer, you're in a good spot right now to sell.
Yeah, I'm not in that spot.
No. Well, let me cheer you up.
Okay.
It's that time of the month, Dave. No,
What?
Not that time of the month. It's time for Microsoft Patch Tuesday, April 2023.
Yes, I could not be more excited to hear about all the great zero-day fixes and flaws that are in this brand new Windows 11 that's supposed to be really good, I heard.
Yes. So they fixed one actively exploited zero-day vulnerability and a total of 97 flaws across Microsoft's products.
Now, how do they define flaws? Because I could be using it as it's intended and be like, this is very flawed design.
Yes.
This is not working correctly.
Windows. Yeah. They replaced it with Mac OS this month.
Hey, that would be.
Yeah,
would be
so
good.
the breakdown, if you'd like to know, there's 20 elevation of privilege vulnerabilities, 8 security feature bypass vulnerabilities, 45 remote code execution vulnerabilities, 10 information disclosure vulnerabilities, 9 denial of service vulnerabilities, and 6 spoofing vulnerabilities. Say that 6 times fast.
I was waiting on every word, wishing that you threw that list of vulnerabilities, which in the past you've had a little bit of difficulty
Yes,
saying.
yes.
So, man, I have
everyone. Improved, much to Todd Workhoven's dismay, in my pronunciation of vulnerability.
That was like you walking a tightrope. I was just chewing my fingernails the whole time.
I practiced all day.
Well, and it does not include 17 Microsoft Edge vulnerabilities that they fixed on April 6th. Maybe you said that. I don't know.
No, I did not. I did not. So it's just our monthly reminder to keep your stuff updated, because especially on the security side of things, it helps to do those updates so you are not vulnerable.
Well, later in the article, just to be fair, Apple released 2 actively exploited fixes that they, to compare.
Yes.
2 and the 100.
And I think there was a big Google Chrome one that they had a big thing that they had to fix and push something out. So everybody has this stuff, but Microsoft, they do their scheduled Patch Tuesday, second Tuesday of every month. So
it's my favorite episode on the internet.
Yes.
Microsoft Patch Tuesday.
Yes. Well, my second favorite episode on the internet is Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Well, we already covered it. I told you guys how to sign up for a savings account on Apple Wallet, but maybe we should shift gears a little bit. And we've talked about this before, but it's one of these features that has multiple uses, and so I want to keep revisiting it. So photos on your iOS devices, and for you Android users, they're similar, I'm sure. I don't currently have an Android device, so I can't look it up. This little setting that we often forget about. When you're on a photo and you hit the little share sheet, it's that square with the arrow pointing up, which we've all come to know that's the share sheet, but still, could we not get a better design on that thing? I digress. You got your AirDrop option. You can send it to your message. Depending on what apps you have installed, there might be other options. You can also save it to files. You can put it in an album. You can do all these things with the share sheet. One thing I always forget about is at the very top, that options. If you click the options, when you share that photo or group of photos, you can do a few things. And one specifically is the photos data. Let's say you are at your home and you want to share this photo to whatever, and it's like, I don't want people to know my home address. There's a little toggle you can turn off. All indications show that whatever state it's in will be toggled for the next one. So if you leave it on, it'll be on. If you turn it off, it'll be off. Anyway, I think that's how it works. Mine is turned off right now. So if you don't want to share location information with the photos that you've taken, go into the options at the top of the screen after you press the share sheet, and you'll see that toggle. And not to be forgotten, there's also a couple different ways you can send this. And I can see this being useful in a variety of situations. But one, you can just say, I just want to send it automatically. However Apple wants to send it, send it. But there are 2 other options. You can send the photos as it's going to copy the photo into the chat message. It's going to send the photo to the person. They're going to get it. Or you can force it to do an iCloud link. Now, you're at Regal Cinemas in Bridgeport in Tigard, Oregon. The cellular stuff is so spotty in there. It is like the worst. And you just took a funny video of your friend trying to get some candy out of the candy machine and he dropped it. Oh, I want to share that with my friend. Well, it's like a 40 megabyte video. Well, what you do is you can send an iCloud link. And what it will do is upload that video to a server somewhere. And it's only going to send your friend a link to that video that they can download later. There is that piece where you have to get it to the cloud at some point. But once it's in the cloud, it's a very lightweight way to share a very data-heavy document, or in this case, a video. And sometimes Apple's iCloud sharing will just do this automatically. But if you want to force it to do it, here's another example, and it would probably do this automatically. But sometimes I take hour-long videos of performances with my phone. Once that's uploaded, I could simply just share a link to you, and when you tap it, it's going to download it from iCloud versus all the overhead of trying to send it over the messages network to get from my device to your device. So anyway, my main point in this tip is just to remind people that these settings are there because I always forget about them. The data and the iCloud link can be found in the photo options.
Yes. And the all photos data toggle that you briefly mentioned, it has a little description there. It says, when sharing with AirDrop, including all photos data, will send photos and videos in original quality along with edit history and metadata, including location and captions. The recipient will be able to view or modify any edits like crops, filters, and live. We were talking about this, the issue of crop photos where you could recover information on Android and Windows. So this is just a good reminder, and that's just for AirDrop. Mm-hmm. But you might want to have all that photos data, like if I'm AirDropping something to my computer and I want to have it and I don't want to go through the Photos app and do all that, I might want all of that in the original quality. So it's good to know. I had completely ignored that options
it
button
is
up there.
So not obvious. It's hiding up there. It's
because
very
everything
low contrast
that you're trying to do at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so thank you very much for that.
You are welcome.
Well, on to our takes of the week. So, Dave, I know you were probably trying to tune into this to watch the Love is Blind Netflix live reunion show that was apparently Netflix's second live streaming event that they had tried.
I can only imagine, is this a blind date show, but the spin is that the people are actually blind or something?
I do not know. I do not want to know. But based on the few pictures they have here, it is a bunch of well-dressed ladies all fawning over somebody. And there's another picture where there's some wedding rings. So, yes, but they tried to do this live event. An hour into the live event, when they couldn't get it working at all, they decided that they would just put out a recorded version later. So
it was probably... Do you think it was pre-recorded before anyway, or was it actually live?
It was a live stream that was not working, so all these people were trying to watch it and they couldn't do it, but they were recording also, so they are making it available to stream.
Well, why didn't they call me? I live stream stuff all the time, and I never have this problem. So anyway, next time.
The Netflix tweet that was happening during it. To everyone who stayed up late, woke up early, gave up their Sunday afternoon, we're incredibly sorry that the Love is Blind live reunion did not turn out as we had planned. We're filming it now and we'll have it on Netflix as soon as humanly possible. Again, thank you and ... So
I would really like to know how many people tuned into that stream.
Yes, it does say per Down Detector, which is a site where you can report sites that are down. It says more than 10,000 users reported errors accessing Netflix around 8 p.m. Eastern time.
It was more than 500, which was going to be my guess. But there you go.
So who knows if Netflix was having other issues or what was going on. But
How disappointing.
Yes, and that is hopefully the last time we will mention Love is Blind.
And all the TV stations are laughing in their TV station voice.
Yes.
You can't do what we can do.
Yes, indeed. So we got a little gaming news.
Oh, yeah?
Sega, which I didn't know still existed, is officially buying Angry Birds developer Rovio for $775 million.
I mean, okay. Where did they get this kind of money? They nearly went bankrupt.
Yeah, I don't know. All that Sonic money they've got.
Well, that's really like their only brand
thing.
now.
But now they'll have Angry Birds, which I mean, we've been talking about them since the beginning of the podcast, and I feel like we're kind of past the peak.
Well, they've got... Rovio's got movies out, the Angry Birds movies. Remember those?
Yeah.
I'm sure Isla has seen those movies. Or maybe she hasn't. They're not that popular. But this seems That's almost $1 billion. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Make another Sega Dreamcast 2. That's what you need to be doing with that money, not buying birds.
Yes. And I will remind people, it mentions in the article that Candy Crush developer King was acquired by Activision Blizzard in a $5.9 billion with a B dollar deal that completed in 2016. And I will tell you, Dave, Candy Crush, it's been a while since I've talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, they've got the Candy Crush All-Stars tournament, and I am in the semifinals. If I make it through the semifinals, I will be going to the UK for the live finals of Candy Crush. Now, I've got a long uphill battle until then, but I have started to revitalize my real Candy Crushin' Instagram account and Facebook page, because I am currently...
Okay.
I'm revealing this on the podcast.
You're going to say numbers that I have no idea what they are, but go ahead.
I want you to guess, Dave, how many levels I have won in a row without losing. So I have not lost a single
time
level. I've won this many levels the first try.
It's got to be more than 5. Let's see. In a streak, 152.
I am currently at 630.
What?
I've got a whole new technique for Candy Crush.
That game is too easy.
So, knock on wood, I probably jinxed myself now, but I no longer look at Candy Crush as individual levels. I look at it as episodes of 15 levels that I will conquer in one sitting.
You are like Neo in the Matrix.
Yes.
You don't even see the code anymore. You look right through the code into the heart of Candy Crush.
It's true. So I have some new techniques, and my Candy Crush game is strong now.
Well, I would be remiss if I did not ask, what about your buddy Wes?
Oh,
is he in this thing?
He is in this thing. He doesn't have quite my techniques. We've had some long discussions recently about Candy Crush as we did some traveling together, and techniques and that sort of thing. Now he doesn't have the same technique as me. I am currently on level 8,466.
Oh, jeez, all that time.
I think Wes is currently in the 13,000s.
There's that many levels?
Yes.
And why did I think Facebook bought Candy Crush? Why? I've always thought that.
They have had a very close tie. They still do between Facebook and Candy Crush. You can play it on Facebook.
But it's Activision Blizzard.
It is, yes.
Now, isn't that the one that Microsoft wants to buy?
Yes, yeah.
So Microsoft could potentially own
Candy Crush. So maybe it'll be coming to an Xbox near you.
Oh, I got one right back up here.
Yeah, there you go. Well, in equally exciting news, I got a little bit slightly off topic to float my own boat, if you will, for a moment. But some exciting news. Microsoft set to change the print screen button so it will open the snipping tool in Windows 11.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to do with that thing?
Yeah. So the print screen button for mini moons in Windows, when you hit that, it would take a copy of the screen. So basically do a Control-C of the screen as a screenshot, and then you could paste it into... Usually people would open up Microsoft Word, paste it into a Word document, save the Word document, send you the Word document to get your screenshot.
I recall you click this button, and on your dot matrix printer that goes bzzz, it puts whatever on the screen onto your paper.
Well, that was many moons ago.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, so it has been just a copy of your screen. But I will remind people, we've talked a lot about Mac screenshot tools and iOS screenshot tools and different ways to take a screenshot. The snipping tool built into Windows is a very full function, and it's gotten even better in Windows 11 for taking screenshots of part of the screen or video or all that stuff. It's built in, and it is really a nice feature. So if you use a Windows computer, I would highly recommend opening up the snipping tool. It's got an odd name, but it is useful, and soon you'll be able to hit that print screen button and just do it for there if you have a keyboard with a print screen button.
Well, let's be honest, many corporate computers are going to be stuck on Windows 10 for a while, so you may just want to open up that app.
Yes, indeed. Open it and pro tip, right click when it's in your start menu and pin to taskbar. Then it'll be across the bottom and you can just click it for easy access. Don't put it on your desktop because you're never looking at your desktop.
It's behind everything.
Yes.
And Nate, I got to ask, I know this is going on and on about topics we never talk about, Windows computers.
Yes.
But could you not reassign the print screen button to open that automatically? Is there some type of keyboard tool that would do that?
There has to be. I do not use Windows consistently enough to know that, but I'm sure there is some way to remap your keys on your keyboard.
If there's a listener out there who knows, just let us know.
Yes, indeed. Well, on to kind of our security and privacy section. We'll ease into it with this story. AI clones girl's voice in kidnapping scam.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know why I never thought this would be a thing. You get a call one day, Mommy, help, I've been kidnapped. We got your daughter. Send us email right now, $1,000 to this whatever. And then you do it, and then 10 minutes later, your daughter walks in from school, and it's like, hey, what's up? And they're like, weren't you just kidnapped? No. Fake AI voice. Is that the scenario that we're doing here?
Yeah. An Arizona mom claims that scammers use AI to clone her daughter's voice so they could demand a $1 million ransom from her as part of a terrifying new voice scheme.
I need to plan a little bit bigger. I said $1,000.
Yes,
and so it was $1 million?
$1 million.
What normal person has $1 million laying around?
Not us normal people, but some normal people. And she says, I never doubted for 1 second it was her while recalling the bone-chilling incident. That's the freaky part that really got me to my core. So, and we have heard of some of these AI, spoofing schemes, but I know that we're pretty sure that my grandpa, George, before he passed, he was in his late 90s. We think somebody called him and said, hey, it's your grandson. I'm in Mexico in jail. I need you to wire me $500. And I think he fell for that. So these scams have been around for a while, but now
that's a very popular one.
If you can create an AI voice and have them be terrified and, you're like, what's going on? Now, I would question... so it says here, my question has been answered. Di Stefano remembered that her 15-year-old daughter, Bree, was on a ski trip, so she answered the call to make sure nothing was amiss. So she was on a ski trip, so how they knew that, to know that, because I was like, where's your daughter at? She's in watching TikTok right now.
Well, how did they get the seeds for the voice to begin with? Does she have a lot of online content or something like that? How... They would have had to train this AI to sound like her. They must be.
I did not read. It's a lengthy article into all the details, but I'm guessing they must be somewhat known that you would,
She's an
to be able
influencer
to ask for $1 million.
Yeah.
But then they lowered the figure to 50,000. Said she didn't have the money. So
it's price anchoring, even when criminals are doing it.
And when you haven't even kidnapped anybody, it's like, well, okay, I'll take 50 grand.
Yeah. How about you slip us a 20 and we'll call it good.
Yes. Yeah. So keep your ears out, keep your eyes out. Don't believe anything.
Hide your children, hide your wives.
Yes, indeed. And this one is back in the news, juice jacking.
Okay. You're going to have to remind me on this one.
So juice jacking is the warning that we've gotten over many years that don't ever plug your devices into public charging ports.
Guess what I did at the airport when I was traveling?
Plugged your device into a public port?
I did.
Yes.
I did it.
And so I guess it was the Denver FBI put out a tweet saying, make sure you don't plug into any public ports.
I did it at the Denver airport.
Did you?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they did the tweet.
They did it because they got me.
Breaking news. Shoot. So I actually was listening to the Rich on Tech podcast, and he had a guy from Ars Technica who did some research on this, and he called the FBI and said, hey, why are you releasing this now? Do you have some new incidents? They're like, well, we're releasing it because of the FCC has this page on their website with a similar warning. So he calls the FCC and says, "Hey, why do you guys have this new warning on your site?" And they said, "Well, I'm trying to remember this correctly.
My high school son said he read an article once.
No, it was like the San Diego police had something on their site that's been there since like 2019. Well, when they had been asked about that, they said, "Oh, well, we heard it's been happening on the East Coast." So there was absolutely no evidence of this. So basically, and what this guy from Ars Technica and several other people that have been talking about this, there are ways that this could happen.
Sure.
But if you have an iPhone or an Android device that's running an operating system that's been released in the last 8 years, when you plug into a computer or something that wants to communicate data, there is a confirmation there that you have to allow it. You have to put in your passcode.
And if it's just a charging port, it won't even
even pop anything up. Yeah. So this is just, I mean, they call them USB condoms that you can get that go in between the charging port and your cable to make sure no data goes through.
Wait, why did you mention this article? We could have been selling those on the NotPicks.
NotPicks. Head to NotPicks and get your USB condom. So there's all these kind of devices and everything, but there is no real world evidence that the FBI, the FCC, or the San Diego police ever needed to put this warning out. It's just they want some relevance and they want to make sure that they still keep getting their tax dollars.
I thought you were going to say that some local TV news journalism team came up with this story, and then the police, and then the FAA or the FCC, and then the
FTX
IRS.
and SBF.
And then they are all linked to everybody.
Oh, man.
It's like a house of dominoes.
Yeah. No,
crazy.
So our security and privacy story this week is don't listen to the FBI ever. Oh, wait.
No. I mean,
juice jacking isn't a thing.
It isn't a thing, I guess. So I was justified in plugging in my devices. Because, I mean, here's the thing is I know that when I plug that in there, that there would be warnings and all this stuff. And it's just like on an iPad, the chances of them taking over my iPad by me plugging that in are very, very slim.
Yeah.
So, but yes, running modern operating systems on these devices have kind of eliminated the scare that once was 9 years ago or however long that was.
Yes. And I'm going to do a quick side back step.
What? I don't even have a sounder for that.
You've got to find one. You mentioned Bridgeport Village Theater, the Regal Cinemas there. I visited this last week with my daughter, and we saw Super Mario Bros.
Yes, very good.
Great movie. We were talking about that last week, and she had a half day on Wednesday last week, and I said, "Hey, do you want to go to the movies?" And she got really excited. We had a blast. She really enjoyed the movie. It's very well done. So
she's the demographic for it. She knows about Mario. Whether she plays the video games or not, and she knows about Princess Peach and all that stuff, and so it's in her little world. But even oldies like me, guess what I was playing today? I got out my old Game & Watch little anniversary
Nintendo,
thing that has Super Mario Brothers on there. So I was actually playing it today. So it's a timeless game with timeless characters and a fun movie to watch.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's move on to our bonus odd take. Dave, I'm surprised they did not call you. Maybe they did to help build this, but it is mobilephonemuseum.com.
I took a look at this, and I was getting some PTSD back when we used to work for a Apple warehouse. One of my assignments at one point was, okay, you guys are going to be the mobile phone guys. Let's find all the cases and all the stuff. And I spent a lot of time researching, and I came quickly to find that I did not care about any phone that wasn't the iPhone. And this is the reason. Look at some of these phones.
Yes, they actually have, if you go at the top, they've got the collections, and there's the ugliest section, and there are some
but just the sheer
end
volume of these. I mean, they're just...
The brands. If you just go to the brands page, there's 150 different brands there of these different phones, like the Danger phone. Did you ever own it? Oh, they don't have any in there.
No. But, I mean, like Motorola, for example, there's got to be a billion Motorola phones, and some of them are just slightly different. It's like, oh, this is the Verizon version, and this was the AT&T version, and this one they sold in the UK, and this one they sold in South America. Oh my gosh, so many variations of these phones.
But it is fascinating. Oh, I took the ugly filter off, and I did find the Danger Hip Top Sidekick phone. So they do have a Danger phone on there, and you can click on and get some details about it from 2002.
The one that you're going to want to look up is the counterfeit StarTAC Rainbow. Do I got any Rastafarian fans out there, man? We've got bright red, yellow, green, and blue colors on every layer of this phone. It looks like a toy, honestly, like a Fisher-Price phone. Oh,
man, there are some... they've got a James Bond phone collection on there. They've got the best-selling, the Nokia 3310, which I had... Well, I didn't have that one, but that was the one with Snake.
Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Oh, the game Snake.
Yes, the 2-bit game of Snake. And,
I was going down a completely different path there.
Yes, you were. The Motorola Razr. So,
the Hip Phone Nano looks like an iPod Nano. Is this? Look that up. Hip Phone or HiPhone Nano F210. I know this is riveting audio for people who are listening. But it looks like an iPod
2009.
Nano.
So that came out 2 years after the iPhone came out.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of details on some, but man, a really fascinating mobilephonemuseum.com, and they've got a great history of all things mobile phone. I got to be honest, this will probably be the last time I come here, but it's good if I have a future need to reference one of these brands. I'll take a look. If you want to go like Nokia, they've got a pile of phones. I had a few of those back in the day. I've still got my 6610, I think, here on my
Microsoft did my boys at Nokia dirty. Bought them and then shut them down.
Yes, indeed. Well, I do have, since that made for such riveting audio, I've got a bonus odd take. There's an app that I've heard a couple people mention, and I saw a link to it. It is, you find it at Die With Me online, and it's the Die With Me app. Now, Dave, before you get morbid on this is the chat app you can only use when you have less than 5% battery.
So you're unable to use it if your battery is higher than that?
Yes, it's available on the Apple App Store and Google Play, so it puts you in a chat room with other people whose phone is less than 5%.
You know what? This is probably 95% of all teenagers.
Yes.
And bonus, is it able to detect if they have a cracked screen?
No.
Because dead battery and cracked screen yells teenager to me.
Die cracked with me?
Yeah.
Yes, but...
I mean, this is... No one's going to use this.
No one's going to use this. But you know what they are going to use? Our picks of the week.
Oh, yeah. I should get one of those ready for us. Actually, I do have something, and it's a bit untested, but I picked it up today, and I'm excited to talk about it, even though I've not opened the box. So pardon me as I stand up. I hope my zipper is zipped. Okay, here we go. I picked up on Facebook Marketplace for $50 US tender.
Legal tender. Oh,
a HomePod Mini.
Half price HomePod Mini?
Half price. And you know what? I turned down a few months ago. I think some guy was selling two of them, probably the same guy. It's a little sketchy where he's getting these from.
He's digging a hole through a coffee shop bathroom into an Apple store.
Oh, and real-time update on that. It was a store that sells coffee makers. It wasn't like a Starbucks. I had that wrong.
Well, thank you for correcting us on that.
But anyway, the HomePod Mini, I've never owned one. Yeah. I've rarely used one.
Yeah.
But I've been in the market for one since they were invented and released very many years ago. So anyway, I was about to say there was a guy selling two of them for $100 a couple months ago. I wish I would have got that so I could have had the stereo pair. But you know what? I'm okay starting with one, and I can build up
Yes.
from there. So I thought for $50, this is like Amazon Alexa's money for one of these things. So that's my pick. If you want good sounding audio for not a lot of money, pick up a HomePod Mini, and if you got a little extra money, get the regular full-size HomePod.
Yes, good sound that works very well with Apple products and does not have an external aux cord. So you do need something AirPlay compatible to work with it. But I have been very tempted, and with the new HomePods as well, I'm like, do I just get one? Do I get two of them and replace my $80 soundbar? And I'm
I think Sonos is the way to go.
Yeah.
If you're gonna like go all in, but if you're gonna dabble like me with an inexpensive little speaker, HomePod Mini is good enough.
Very nice. Well, my pick of the week, coincidentally, also deals with sound. And one of our favorite developers, Rogue Amoeba, we used their software for a long time to record the podcast, the Audio Hijack. We're not using that anymore, but we've actually been talking off air about using some other stuff for some stuff we're working on.
Yeah, some stuff.
Stuff. But I found a coupon code for one of their softwares that I had been tempted by in the past, and I think maybe I had tried the trial, but it is a software for your Mac, only for your Mac, called SoundSource. Now, on my Mac, like when I'm working at home right now, I've got my 16-inch MacBook Pro, I've got my 27-inch screen to the side, I've got 550 apps open, 333 tabs.
Brag
all this
much?
Stuff. Yes, humble brag. But sometimes you need to control audio, where it's coming from, where it's going, all that stuff. So what SoundSource does is it puts a little thing up in your menu bar, and you click on that, and when you click it, it opens a window with your system sound stuff, every application that you have open, and little sliders. You can adjust the volume. So let's say it says that Firefox, let's say I want to make sure nothing plays from Firefox while we're recording the podcast. I can just click a button, turn that all the way down, mute it. Google Chrome, let's mute that. I don't want that to be playing any autoplay ads. It's got Zoom on there. You can have favorites of apps that you always want to be able to control. You can redirect the audio to different places. So I could have it come to my headset, go to the speakers, any of the other million things that show up in there.
This makes me a little sad because a couple months ago I bought Looper and Audio Hijack for this stuff that we're talking about. And could I have done everything here? Could I have redirected the audio from one of my devices into another app without?
I don't think it does necessarily that. This is more of just where sound is coming from, and your volume levels. They have some equalizer stuff built in there. But if you wanted to buy this, normally it is $39. But our friends, well, they're not our friends. We're fans of Six Colors. Jason Snell and his website over there.
We're their friends. They're just not our friends.
They don't know we exist.
Yeah.
But you can save $10 off SoundSource with coupon code 6CSSTEN. So six
colors 10? Something like that.
6CSS 10. But yeah, so I'm sure their coupon code will work for a while. They were a sponsor of their site, so they had it on there. But for $29, I said, you know what? Being able to have this control, and I was DJing a wedding this last weekend. I was thinking, this is really nice to be able to control things to make sure only the sound. When you're DJing a wedding, you only want the sound coming out of your speakers that you want coming out of your speakers.
Yeah,
or at least the bride and groom usually want that, not a FaceTime call or something
your
else going
perpetual
on.
fart app that's continually
yes, I do have my perpetual fart app running at all times on my computer. But yeah, so SoundSource, that is my pick of the week. And if you want To pick up our picks of the week, head over to notpicks.com and shop around there and check out many of our previous picks. There's plenty more to get up there, but we've got a lot there, and we enjoy you guys being able to go find them easily and pick out some cool gifts or solutions to a problem you're having. And you can do that all at notpicks.com.
Very cool.
And with that, we are going to wrap up this episode. We have talked a lot of tech at you. You can always find the show notes on the website. Share the podcast with a friend. Share it with somebody you're in a meeting with, like Dave did today.
Yeah.
Just get the word out there, because we want everybody to be able to get out there and tech better.
Share it with your grandma while you're in the tub together. Share it with your high school teacher.
While your phone's less than 5%, you're trying to use their charging cable because your screen's cracked.
Share it with your ex-high school girlfriend that you still connect with over Facebook, even though you're married and have 5 kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
all
anybody.
that stuff. Anybody can tech better.
Anybody.